This is a video to show how to use the problem list for Expand CHR for Citizens Memorial Hospital. You can see that we're in assessment and plan. That's usually where we initiate our problems. We could also do that up in history if we wanted to, where you could click on these and see how they function or edit them as you need to. But usually when we're adding a problem, we start down here. So we'll add a problem. And this patient's actually coming in for pharyngitis today, as well as these chronic conditions they manage. So we're going to add pharyngitis, if I could spell. And you can see that I've got several favorites. Now, I don't know if it's adenovirus or strep, so I'm just going to put pharyngitis. You don't want it in active because it's not a problem we're going to manage for a long period of time. It's not a condition that's resolved, so we're not going to put history. We're going to say doc only. So we're going to add doc only to that. And can you see it added to the document currently? So I'm going to hit save here and then go over to my assessment plan. It's going to take me to here. It's going to ask for a qualifier, but we don't really have a qualifier right now. It's unspecified. So we can just put unspecified at this point. And then we'll do swab, do a strep swab. And let's say the strep swab comes back positive. Otherwise, it's just unspecified if they're negative. We do the strep swab and it comes back positive. We go into edit the qualifiers. And we're going to say it's strep because it was positive. So we're going to switch to strep and move on from there. Sometimes chronic problems can also need to be edited or managed. For example, patient with heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, you obtain a new echocardiogram and it does show an abnormal EF. You can see the EF improved, but now it's gone back to abnormal. So we want to switch to heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. So we're going to go transition now to heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. It's chronic because it's not just happening now. It's actually been going on for a while. So we click on transition. Now it's going to change that problem for us. It's not resolved, so we're not going to move it to history. We can go ahead and save it here. And the protocol is going to save as well. And you can see now that that's been transitioned to with reduced ejection fraction. If the heart failure has resolved, or let's say, the heart failure has resolved, we can always resolve that and place it into the historical section of the document. So we'll click on any of these elements to edit, say permanent comments to edit. And we're going to move it over to history because it's now in a historical fashion. So we're going to leave it in the document, and because we're going to comment about the fact that it has resolved, so we leave it right in the document there and save it, and you can see that it's there. So 3 things you can do. You can add a new problem, you can edit the current one and transition it to a different one and move it over into the inactive state if it's no longer active. Or you can morph it during the visit. If you get a culture positive, you can say strep. Hypertension can be edited if you decide that's going to change to some other problem like renal vascular. If you discover some renal artery stenosis, you can put it into that category, but otherwise it stays in primary. The other change that we've had recently is that our there are resolved problems. You can see heart failures now in that category, such as heart attack. Things that they've had in the past are going to live in this PFSH as medical history or resolved problems. Active current medical conditions are not going to show there, but we've created a section called Patient's Active Problem List that allows you to see these active problems in their current state so you don't have to go to the problem list and look at the active problem. If you want to view the problem list, you can always hit Add Problem here and see the problems as they are. Another way you can do that is to have in your reference region a problem list widget you can see here. And I've got it shortened so I don't show all the problems unless I absolutely want to see all of them. But normally I see my top 2 that I use a lot. And I can edit that problem list here. And the ways you can edit that is you can switch it to from clinical category, which is the default. You can switch it to an alpha sort, so it allows you to kind of separate any duplicates you might have. You also can see them in their rank order, and you can actually rank the problems here. And you notice that I have diabetes number 1 because I'm going to oftentimes order from diabetes, and I want to be able to select that. So you save that number 1 ranking, and then when I click on this, you'll notice it turns green. Any orders I place now are going to be with the diagnosis of diabetes associated.